Razorfist says it best. First, Waid ruined Heavy Metal magazine, but I said nothing, for I was not a heavy metal fan. Then, Waid ruined Marvel, but I said nothing, for I was not a Marvel fan. Then, Waid ruined DC, but I said nothing, because who can even tell the difference? We have some huge news about DC Comics today. This is coming from multiple industry insiders at this point. We've just been breaking crazy stories in the comic industry over the last few months, and I'm glad. I appreciate my sources out there that are actually telling me what's going on internally, because it really upsets them. Now, I put this article out this morning. It went really well, and it's going a little bit viral, about a crisis at DC Comics as Mark Waid's summer event Absolute Power fails to sell. And it spurs rumors DC will be cutting their publishing line. Now, this is something that's been talked about periodically for the last couple of years. It's been in the DC offices that their publishing line is something that is just losing them money and that they might want to get rid of. DC Comics as a whole, everything doesn't sell except for Batman at this point. And it's the same thing with the movies. When you look at Warner Brothers and what they've done with all the Justice League stuff, really only Batman sold. Wonder Woman was an exception for that first movie. But beyond that, they just can't get anything going with these characters other than Batman. And it's because of incompetent writers, incompetent editorial that has no good vision and is turning all the characters gay, of course. But they're continuing to double down over and over and over again with the same business model practices, and it's just finally catching up to them to the point where they can't sustain themselves. So I'm going to get into what these industry insiders have to say in just a moment, and just how this is really spelling the end of DC Comics, finally. It's been a couple years of this. But please, before we do, my name is John Delarose. I'm a #1 best-selling comic creator myself. This is The Hidden Emperor. I'm building a science fiction universe that's honestly better than Star Wars. Not hard to do at this point, but we are doing some great works in graphic novels and novels, building a multimedia empire, and it starts here with The Hidden Emperor, which is going to be going up on Kickstarter in just a couple of weeks. Beautiful art by a lady who's doing some work that's really on par with Valerian, some of the good European comics out there. And if you enjoyed my last story, Overmind, you'll absolutely love this, because we really hit it out of the park. So right now, it's not for sale, but you can click Notify Me on launch here on Kickstarter, and then you will get notified when it does come out pretty soon. I get my books finished before putting them up on Kickstarter, because I like to deliver quickly so you can get these in short order. And, we try to run a little better business operation than a lot of other independent stuff out there. So thank you guys for the support. We really appreciate you and appreciate your support of great comics. And please also hit the like and subscribe button. Join our community here. We've got a Discord community where we love to talk comics. I love to hear from you. Become a channel member. Support our channel and support our efforts here. And it's great. All right, so DC Comics has been in trouble for a while. The background to this, of course, is they've turned all of their characters gay over the last several years. Superman's gay. Batman's got Robin, who's gay now. Alan Scott, Green Lantern's gay. Hawk Girl's gay. Your boy Zach, maybe I'll make a video about him later as an aside note, because he's been way off the rails lately. Talked about this a couple years ago, saying DC Comics has turned into a gay bar, and it really just stayed there. It's just been unreadable comics over and over again. Even the ones that aren't gay, the reboots like The Flash that they've done recently, have just been completely unreadable dreck. They tried too hard to make it literary or whatever, and it just didn't work. Cy Spurrier just created a disaster there, and I wanted to check that out, but oh well. So they've really hurt themselves with the gayness, and they've also hurt themselves with just constant reboots because they reset their universe. They made statements saying continuity is fluid now. They don't even care about it. And at that point, it's well, why would I even bother reading? These characters are never going to progress, never going to do anything interesting. Nothing matters. Any writer like Tom King's going to come in and just ignore all continuity and turn the character into this depressed weirdo, who needs Prozac rather than actually being a hero. And so I'm just going to watch my heroes slowly get ruined one by one, and then nothing's going to fix it. That's where they've been at for a long time. And so everybody tuned out of it. They did a reboot called Rebirth, which, kind of reset after New 52, which was a failure. Then they rebooted again with Dawn of DC, and Dawn of DC didn't sell at all. They're scrambling. We've been reporting on that already. And now they're building an event this summer based on this man, Mark Waid. And this event is called Absolute Power. And it's, of course, supposed to change the DC universe forever. We hear this every time there's an event. And I think people do have event fatigue because, like, the events force these books to cross over. They wreck the books that they cross over because, like, the crossovers are all throwaway issues, like, built for the omnibus edition of the event. And it's terrible. I think the Marvel event right now, I forget what it's even called, Blood Hunt or something. It's just about, like, vampires going out hunting in New York. It's Chip Zdarsky, I believe, and it's just a boring train wreck where you've got all these side issues that, again, just don't matter. And it just pauses the books so that you get an Amazing Spider-Man. You're reading Amazing Spider-Man number 48. Oh, but 49's a Blood Hunt crossover, and they have to stop the storyline going there. And so those have hurt comics quite a bit too because, it just wrecks the individual books. Oh, well. Lots of reasons the comic industry is failing, but these are the primary two in my estimation. Now, Mark Waid's brought in to do this event that's supposed to, like, lead into a new DC's building a Ultimate style universe, much like Marvel's does, like, on the side here, and this is supposed to facilitate that. So this was supposed to be their big hype, their big push, but unfortunately, there's no hype for their little Ultimate style universe. It's going to be called Absolute DC or something. And Scott Snyder's supposed to be writing the Batman version of that, but he's not a star himself. Like, I mean, yeah, he did Batman and people thought it was okay. He did some interesting world building stuff, but he really didn't become a superstar writer at that point. He really was never hailed as one of the best Batman writers. And so him running this really is like head scratching. It's not like you're with Marvel, you got Jonathan Hickman rolling in there. I mean, really, if you wanted to do something like this, you should have just paid Jeff Johns whatever he asked, or Mark Miller whatever he asked to, like, do this, because those are the guys that could actually get some butts in the seats, or maybe even Robert Kirkman. And we're going to get to this because this failure in selling this event has the people at DC talking about cutting their publishing line. So Mark Waid couldn't save them. Mark Waid, the guy writes decent stories for the most part. I'm not in total agreement with Razorfist on that, but he's such a nut job, and he's such a just, like, hateful bigot online that it's impossible for anybody who's normal to want to pick up his books at this point. He's gone on tirades, lambasting conservatives, lambasting Christians, and it's like, okay, well, that's most of the country, which means that's most of the reading population. So you're gonna appeal to this, like, extreme leftist group and tell everybody else not to buy your books. Mark Waid went so far as to say that he would rather burn the industry down, which he's doing, than work with somebody who's right wing, and that's really ridiculous. Now, I asked Mark Waid on the channel. I read his stuff back in the day. I really enjoyed his Flash back in the day and Legion of Superheroes. So I did and Fantastic Four work back then. I just wanted to talk comics. And here's the thing. What he would have shown if he would come on is that, look, we're bigger people, we're adults. This isn't some, like, childish thing where, hey, if you don't vote for the person I vote for, you're not welcome at my table. He could really make a huge difference at that level, and then really just reset the comic book industry. It was his power, especially coming out, and having this giant event coming out like this. If he did something that big, he might be able to just, like, honestly get people to go, okay, maybe this whole political thing's dying down and we can just all, like, enjoy comics again. But unfortunately, he decided to just be negative towards me instead. He said, don't waste my time, and doubled down on attacking people on the right. And so, of course, DC Comics is not doing well with this. Now, because of all this, what my industry insiders are saying, and this is the big thing, yeah, thank you for waiting this long into the video for this. Hit the like and subscribe again. They're saying that DC Comics is talking about canceling their publishing line. And they're saying a couple of different things. There's another rumor that Robert Kirkman's been approached for getting the licensing on this, which that was a rumor back in 2021, which was being talked about as well. And I believe that those discussions happened, and it probably just didn't make sense at the time. But now with his success with Transformers, G.I. Joe, the Hasbro properties, he's just killed it. Those are some of the best comics out there. I think that DC's looking at it again, going, you know what, this guy might do better with our brand than the current editor that we have in our own publishing house. So that is a possibility. Number two, the second rumor that's happening right now is that Universal is in talks with DC for buying the DC Comics, or Warner Brothers with buying the DC Comics properties, and that Universal is going to then license it out. And that's interesting too, because Universal's got their own theme parks, their own studios for movies. Of course, they'd want it for the movie properties. They might then license it to Kirkman and actually, or just start their own publishing division from scratch, do something different. And that would actually maybe be a good thing for DC. But that's the only way it's going to work at this point. DC needs to wholesale just fire everybody, get rid of everything, start from scratch, rebuild from the ground up. Otherwise, there's no way that these books are going to continue into the future. They're really dying at a rate I've never seen before. These absolute power numbers for their pre-orders that I heard from the retailer group that I talked to, absolutely atrocious. Nobody bought this. It's crazy. And Marvel's not far behind, to be honest. Ultimate Spider-Man is not doing what they hoped it would after five issues or so. It had a lot of hype generation to start, but the rest of the line is not being carried by it so well. This is all hands on deck for the comic industry. They really need to change to survive at this point. Okay, wow. Big news for the day. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you have a happy Sunday and Father's Day. Hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure to check out my book, The Hidden Emperor, which is going to be coming to Kickstarter soon. Please hit that notify on launch. Love to get this up there to 200 followers. We'll be back soon.